eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We'll get to our coronavirus coverage in just a moment, but first, strong storms are still possible late tomorrow after a quiet Tuesday. Chief Meteorologist Paige Noel is here with more on what to expect. Paige?
Well, Steve, for today, like you said, it's been quiet. This evening has been quiet, and I think we kind of see that trend heading into tonight. Of course, we could still see a few stronger storms, but I think those stay out of the area. Right now, we're just seeing those clear skies, and if you haven't gotten out to see that moon yet tonight, it is absolutely gorgeous. However, as we head into tonight, we do still have that slight risk out for a little bit of our counties, just mainly along I-64, West Virginia, and then even that Kentucky River Valley is still in a marginal risk. However, as we look at Future View, other models just showing that most of that looks to stay in Ohio and West Virginia. That's kind of been the trend over the past couple of hours or so. Some stray showers, but I really don't think we see those thunderstorms move in tonight, which is some good news. We get a break before we have to deal with the stronger storms tomorrow. Temperatures expected to get to the upper 70s to lower 80s once again. But we do have that slight risk out for almost all of eastern Kentucky for tomorrow. Remember, that's a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. Gusty winds, heavy rain, and maybe even some hail are in the forecast. I'll have more details on that coming up in just a little bit.
Paige, thank you. Today, another grim coronavirus record. In just 24 hours, COVID-19 claimed the lives of more than 1,700 Americans. That's the highest single-day death toll to date, and part of a trend that's seen the number of U.S. deaths triple in just 1 week. CBS's Michael George has more from New York.
The coronavirus pandemic continues to claim lives around the world and in the United States.
Gotta tell you enough. This is no time for happy days are here again.
New York remains the hardest hit part of the country. The number of deaths there reached a new high on Monday.
Remember, every number is a human being behind that and a family. For myself, I can tell you the last thing I do is get numb.
New Jersey, Illinois, and Louisiana also reported rising numbers of COVID-19 deaths. Experts say the disease is spreading rapidly in some southern states.
We don't know at this point whether our nation will sort of move together or whether there will be a ripple effect across the country.
Another troubling trend has emerged. In some areas, a disproportionately high percentage of coronavirus victims are African American.
The things that get people into ICUs that require intubation and often lead to death, they are just those very comorbidities that are unfortunately disproportionately prevalent in the African American populations.
Medicaid and Medicare have started to track the ethnicity of COVID-19 victims. In the meantime, officials say everyone should adhere to social distancing rules.
If Iowans do what we ask them to do and stay steadfast in this short time frame, hopefully we can start to see that come down, and we can start to have the conversations about how we reopen this economy and get things back to normal.
In China, a glimpse of what back to normal might look like. The city of Wuhan, where the virus was first reported last year, has been reopened after a nearly 2.5-month-long lockdown. Chinese authorities say they will continue to monitor its 11 million residents for signs of another outbreak. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is one of the highest profile victims of COVID-19. The 55-year-old remains in intensive care in London. Johnson was hospitalized Sunday, nearly 2 weeks after he was diagnosed with the disease. Here in Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear announced the largest one-day case increase since the coronavirus arrived in the Commonwealth. 147 new cases were announced today, bringing Kentucky's total to 1,149. 7 new deaths were also announced, bringing the death toll to 65. During his news conference, the governor urged Kentuckians to donate masks and gloves to first responders and hospitals. We have the details on how you can do that on our website. Just search for this story on WYMT.com. Just before the news conference ended this afternoon, we learned of 3 cases in Jackson County. Those are the first ones reported there. The judge executive tells us the 3 people are in isolation, and the health department is working to learn who they may have been in contact with. Now to a developing story in the close-knit world of country and folk music. Singer-songwriter John Prine has died from complications related to COVID-19. He was known for his wise and witty lyrics and scores of quirky original tunes. Prine's voice was rough around the edges, particularly after throat cancer disfigured his jaw, but he kept performing for decades. He won admiration and respect from the likes of Bob Dylan and Chris Christopherson and mentored generations of singers in Nashville. John Prine was 73. Many Kentuckians out of a job are trying to file for unemployment but are having problems. Some can't file a claim at all. Others' claims are pending and they are getting no response. Some are even getting a direct deposit, but no money is going into their account. Governor Beshear says they are working to fix the problems, but one man says he would just like more communication from the state.
It's nothing, even if it's a piece of paper in the mail. But they're letting us know nothing. Why there's so many people that ain't getting nothing. I understand that they're busy.
Governor Beshear says they will continue to hire more people to help process claims. We've heard stories about many people contracting the coronavirus. One former Eastern Kentuckian and her husband both tested positive for the virus. Geneva and Mike Coleman both had symptoms of sneezing and headaches. Mike's condition continued to get worse, resulting in him being hospitalized and in the intensive care unit for nearly 12 days.
He's 67. He's post-stroke. He has asthma. He has diabetes. He has 2 heart stents, an internal pain pump. Every single thing that they tell you that this is the bad demographic to have, then he was there.
After being put on a ventilator and being in a medically induced coma, Mike is now recovering at home. Geneva says they would not have made it to this point without the medical staff in Lexington and prayers from everyone. Kentucky food banks are seeing an increased demand to help thousands of families put meals on the table. Governor Beshear called on the Kentucky National Guard to help put together meals. Today, 20 guardsmen assisted God's Pantry Food Bank in preparing boxes of food. The CEO of God's Pantry says they plan to pack thousands of boxes each week. The boxes will be distributed to families through curbside pickup to continue social distancing. Many grocery stores remain open to the public, providing people with daily essentials throughout this crisis. Stores like Food City are taking additional measures to keep people safe, including plexiglass shields at cash registers, having an associate to clean carts all day, and placing markers on the floor notifying people where to stand. Food City President Steve Smith says masks for associates, well, that's also in the works.
As those become available, we will make at no cost to our associates those masks, and hopefully we can get into those by sometime next week. But in the meantime, if they've got homemade masks, they're welcome to wear them. Matter of fact, encouraged to wear them.
Smith says curbside grocery usage is up nearly 55%, and he encourages people to continue practicing social distancing in stores. The Pike County Sheriff's Office is trying to help the community stay safe at home. The department is offering to pick up items for those in need. Sheriff Rodney Scott says the department worked with Thankful Hearts Food Pantry and the East Kentucky Dream Center to provide a family of 8 with food recently. He says the service is meant for the most vulnerable.
The elderly people don't need to be out, and if someone needs us to go pick up some groceries for them, essential items, then give us a call.
Scott says his department is always available to help the community in times of need, especially now. With the CDC's guidelines of no large gatherings due to COVID-19, schools are having to cancel their graduations. But one local college is trying to still let their students have their special moment. WYMT's Emily Bennett takes us to Union College in Barberville, where they are planning a virtual graduation.
For 4 years, college students dream of graduation day.
The act of walking across the stage has been one of the biggest things that I've been looking forward to for the last 4 years.
But now, along with the last couple months of classes, that has been taken away.
Definitely not something that I foresaw. I don't think it's anything that a lot of my classmates foresaw. But that's just the way things are right now, we have to sacrifice the things we want to do to keep the majority of us safe.
Staff at Union College started thinking of ways graduation could still be held.
May 9th was not going to go by without us still celebrating our grads in some way.
So plans of a virtual graduation began.
And we're meeting weekly and trying to still get all of the elements involved here.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what they're planning, and I'm grateful that they're at least doing something.
The virtual graduation will be filmed ahead of time with the commencement speaker, faculty, and a picture of each graduate as their name is read.
I hope that we'll see some pictures the day of our students standing beside their full screen with their picture and their degree and all of their honors that they've achieved.
But they also hope to hold an in-person ceremony this winter.
We hope to do right. Even if there's some doubt right now among our graduates, we hope when this is all said and done that we have done right by them and given them the celebration they really deserve.
Trying to make the best out of a disappointing situation. In Barberville, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Union College did not want to promise students a ceremony could be held this summer as everything is still uncertain. They do hope to have one in the winter, but have not released a date. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, how experts say hospitalization rates can act as a marker for whether states are testing enough people for COVID-19.
And we could see a few storms tonight, but the best chance is going to be tomorrow night. I'll have those details coming up.